Today we'll be creating decorative tract holders. These are some of the examples of some that you can create using nothing but decorative duct tape. Here are some of the supplies. You'll need a cutting mat, a clear plastic ruler, an X-Acto knife, scissors, a dull butter knife, optional a hot glue gun, and of course the decorative duct tape. You can also use old buttons or rhinestones to decorate the tract holders. As you can see, our tract holders come with a divider, so you can actually use it front and back. A pocket convenient for maybe 2 languages or maybe 2 different tracts. As a side note, you can actually use duct tape that has a pattern, but remember that you'll have to try to line them up so the pattern can be consistent. Well, step 1 is starting with the divider. Now the dimensions are 4 inches by 9 3/4 inches, and we're going to start with a solid white colored duct tape. Now here we'll go ahead and take off at that 1 inch line, and before you move the ruler you slice it, and before you remove the ruler is you take off, just in case you need to cut again. There you go. And now at the 9 3/4, there you go, and we'll leave that there. Now we'll move on to step 2, which is we'll start say here in line 6, and we'll do another one, but we're going to do it a little bit larger because this one will lay on top of the other one. Make this one, instead of 4, we'll make it, let's say, 4.5. But you still want the tapes to overlap. What we're going to do is pick this up and put it sticky side up. What we'll do is we'll stick one end and then flip it. That helps us have a steady...
Stabilize it?
To stabilize it. Okay. Now this one's going to lay sticky side to sticky side. There you go. Now you cut off the excess using your ruler. You can This is 4 by 9 3/4. And that's your divider. Now with step 2, the outer and front covers. And we'll do it the same way. We'll measure 4 by 9 3/4. So here is where you're going to cut at 1 inch. Don't remove the ruler until you know that you've got it all off. And at 9 3/4. Now we're going to do the V for the pocket, and we'll go ahead and put the ruler against the 3 inch line, which in this case is the center, and measure down 2.5, and we'll mark it. There we go. And from that part to the corner, Okay, and we'll go ahead and remove that, which is exactly 2.5 inches down and in the center mark. And we're going to go ahead and do another one, just like we did the divider, bigger, and we'll overlay these sticky side to sticky side. This process is duplicated for the back side. Exactly the same. Now we'll cut off all the excess. Now here we're going to do pointy to pointy, the tops of the V.
Cut it straight across.
Cut it straight across from point to point. And you cut along in the point of the V.
Slice it in the middle.
Slice it down the middle. Fold these over.
But be careful.
But be careful, they've got to be along the edge as best as possible, as best you can.
The edge too.
The edge. Because you want that point to remain.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to see that part's going to be inside.
Yeah, that part's going to be in the inside. We'll cut off that excess in a bit. Flip it and cut that excess. Remember, you're going to do this step twice. There you go. The front part. And we'll add a decorative border in a bit. So these are the finished panels. As you can see, the front and the back have the little folds that we did for the V. Those go on the inside. And the divider, we actually trimmed maybe an 1/8 at the bottom. So now when we put them together, the divider falls a little bit lower than the front and back panels. And we've decided to use this decorative tape for the borders. And we'll
The
put
chevron?
the chevron pattern for this particular tract holder. And we're going to cut it in half to do the borders at the top of the divider and along the sides of the front and back panels. And we're going to leave it whole to create the border at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and do that. A little over 4 inches in length. And trim off the excess. borders for the sides, and I'll go ahead and lay about 11, maybe 10 to 11 inches and cut the tape in half. Out of the two panels, front or back, we decide which one's the best for the front and which one's is better for the back. In this case, we're going to use this one for the front, and because the tape that we're going to use, we've cut down to 1 inch, we're going to measure half an inch and actually score it. It's actually made a little bit under half an inch, and then score it with a dull butter knife. Side of it, just to score it where the line of the tape is going to eventually be. It'll still be visible, but the tape will eventually cover it up anyway. And we'll do that to both sides.
Just like
Measure
a guide
half
with
an
it.
inch, a little bit under half an inch, a little bit less, to account for the thickness of the holder, and so it'll be even on both sides. And it's only necessary to do it, for example, on the front panel. Now we put them together, all three. Front panel, divider, and back panel. And line them up as well as you can, because this is going to be the final product. And we'll use the score that we made on it to line up the tape. Grab them all three together and flip it.
Make sure they're straightened up.
Straighten them up where necessary. There you go. And now we cut off the excess.
And be careful not to cut the trim and the
Yeah.
divider.
Make sure you don't cut the trim. It was done on the divider.
And you open it.
And open it up and fold those in. Those corners in. There you go. There you go. To create a thicker base, to signify that that's the bottom. Go ahead and line it up.
Use the markers, rather.
Using the markers on the cutting board. Easier this way.
Using the base and the...
Well, this is the decorative tract holder done. Now you can use it like that, leave it as is, but we're going to go ahead and add a band to the middle and be a little creative with this one. So we'll line it up here on our board, and at the, in this case, a 4-inch line, which from here to here will be the 3-inch, will be 3 inches from the top. We'll add a band. We'll go on the front part. Okay, and we'll go ahead and cut that. Now I've just turned the tape over, just to be safe, so I won't cut into the holder itself.
And there's the band.
And there's the band.
I'll let that apply.